Penguins are super cute, and cute things are a good motivator for learning things that we don't necessarily want to practice. And brush control is a super important technique, but it is one of those things that's tedious to do. So we're going to paint some cute penguins together, and the penguins we're going to paint are going to be all focused on brush control. So these are going to be a bit different than those animals that I typically do with the big eyes. We're not even going to add eyes to these ones. The first thing we want to do is with a damp brush, dip straight into a dark color and load your brush up with it. Then we're going to take the very tip of that brush, touch it just barely, and then we're going to start to push down and make it a little bit thicker, get a bit of a head shape. Then from either side of that, we're just going to make these two kind of little swoopy down shapes. If you need to, don't forget to refill your brush with that dark color. And then on either side of the body, I'm going to make kind of two swoopy shapes, and I'm just going to tap my brush at the bottom. Then I'm going to wash my brush, and I'm going to put a little bit of yellow or orange into it, and then I'm just going to place that along the sides. If you don't want it to bleed together, you could dry this before, but I kind of like when it bleeds together because these are very stylized, and I think it's just a little fun. I'm going to place that along the throat, along the sides, then I'm going to wash my brush, fill it with water, and I'm just going to soften that whole center part in. Let's do that again, but to the other side. On this one, I'm going to repeat the same steps except for the head shape is going to be in the opposite direction because practicing brush control requires you practice it in multiple directions. Again, touch lightly, drag, putting a little more pressure, push it down, either side swoop down, a couple little scribbles at the bottom, then wash my brush, fill it with those fun colors, place them where I want them, wash again, and wash it into the middle. My goal is to fill up this page with a whole bunch of penguins. So I'm going to change the orientation a little bit, and maybe this one we'd actually see the side of the body. I'm not going to swoop down from both sides. I'm going to make a thicker stroke on one side, and then I'm going to have it poke out a bit for its little tail, and then scribble a bit for its feet. When I take that kind of neutral color or those bright yellows or oranges, place them down, wash my brush, and soften it into the belly. Now I want one that's facing directly on. So for this, I'm going to fill my brush with a dark color. I'm going to make a little cap. I'm going to have it kind of poke out at the bottom. And then I'm going to very lazily fill that in so that it maybe hints to the fact that there are some facial features without actually doing anything. And then the same thing we've done for all the other ones on the body. Brush control can be tricky to learn. And doing something like this where you repeat this over and over and over again, they're going to get better every single time you paint one. And honestly, even if some of them don't turn out how you expected, because we're adding in a whole bunch on this page, we're going to kind of get that group photo effect where every single one looks a little better because they're all put in the context of being a bunch of penguins. So if you mess up on a couple, it's totally fine. I love it so much, and they're so cute. You barely notice you're practicing brush control.